and welcome back to my channel. Or if it's your first time watching, welcome. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and click on that bell icon so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. So in today's video, I am going to be reviewing and doing a wear test on the new Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer. So this retails for $30. This recently just came out. You had a variety of different influencers doing this whole like boot camp type thing with them out in the desert. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with your favorite influencers, but there was a lot of popular influencers who got invited out to the desert and they got to try out this primer and see how the foundation was wearing throughout the day. So because of that, I figured why not do my own? Obviously these influencers are collaborating with Milk Makeup. I am not. I have no association with them. I'm not even on their PR list. So I actually went and bought this with my own money. So I figured I would do a wear test to see what the hype is about. See if it actually holds up my makeup and keeps me hydrated throughout the day. A lot of times some foundations will hold up all day. However, they will start to get, you know, kind of dry, patchy in some of my drier spots. So I figured because this is a very hydrating foundation and because it's supposed to hold your makeup in place all day, I figured I'd do a wear test for you guys so you guys can see how it fares. So I am gonna do kind of a get ready with me video. I don't have anything planned today. I will be checking periodically throughout this video to see how the foundation and my makeup overall is wearing. Let's just talk a little bit about the primer in itself. It is a hydrating makeup gripping primer formulated with hemp-derived cannabis, seed extract, and blue agave extract for all-day hydration and hold. The hemp-derived cannabis seed extract hydrates and smooths the look of skin while providing antioxidant. Blue agave extract forms an invisible layer to grip makeup, smooth the look of texture, and seal in moisture. Prickly pear cactus extract in a low water hydrates, soothes, and calms skin. It's free of sulfates. So basically it's free of all the bad gunky ingredients. There's only less than 1% of synthetic fragrances. This product is also vegan, cruelty-free, and gluten-free. Has aloe water, cherry blossom, hyaluronic acid, B vitamins, so healthier looking skin, glossy. So their claim is post-hot yoga class glow. It's silicone, okay, blah, 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 blah. Basically, it's silicone-free, it helps with texture, it hydrates your skin, and it grips your makeup for all day wear. So that's basically the key things that we need to remember throughout this whole thing. My big thing with this is like, it doesn't have any silicone, but it smooths out texture. So that's what's like wild to me, and that's what I really want to know. Because I've used their blur stick and their luminous blur stick, and while I do love it, it is silicone free. It does not smooth out my texture, you know, like my acne scarring. So that's always like, yeah, all right, Mo. So let's go ahead and try this out. So let's just jump right into the whole doing my makeup portion. Okay, you guys, so I'm gonna take one pump of the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer. I'm just gonna take that. One pump is actually quite a lot. I don't know how much of this I'm actually going to need. It is a very jelly-like consistency. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Clinique jelly, hydrating jelly, but it kind of has a similar consistency. It doesn't smell like anything other than, you know, chemicals, which, like I've said before, I actually enjoy when a primer smells like, I don't know, makeup, like chemicals, because if it smells like chemicals, that means that there's no artificial fragrance in it, and so it's not going to irritate your skin, unless you like the fragrance, and that's all on you. Okay, so this does say to wait a minute before you start doing your foundation. I've obviously already done my brows off camera just because I feel like that's boring and you guys don't really want to see me doing my brows. Unless you do, let me know down below. I'm just kind of letting it sit. It does feel very tacky right off the bat, so we shall see how it kind of like dries down into the skin and what that looks like. Okay, you guys, so for today's video, I am going to be using the Dior Forever Undercover Foundation. This is just one of my favorite foundations just because it matches my skin tone. It's a little bit tanner and it does hold up pretty well throughout the day. I wouldn't say that this is a super long wearing foundation, but it is well, actually, yeah, it is. So this is a 24-hour foundation, so it's already long wearing. I will say that this is more of a glowy foundation as opposed to like a matte. It just has a very skin-like look to it, so I figured I'd do that for the wear test. It is marketed as full coverage, but for us that have suffered from acne and actually know what full coverage is, this is not that. I feel like this is like a natural medium full coverage. So I just take a little bit of that, I take it on my finger, and I kind of just start dotting it all over my face. This is my favorite way to apply this foundation just because it's so liquidy in consistency, and I feel like it really melts into the skin. I'm just going to take a damp beauty blender and kind of start pressing that in. Next, I'm just going to take my Becca Aqua Luminous Concealer. This is just one of my favorite concealers because it's super hydrating, it's super lightweight, and because it's 22% water, it is hydrating, but it's also lightweight, and so I'm just going to blend that in with my damp beauty blender. Next, I'm just going to take a little bit of my Laura Mercier powder, and I'm literally just going to apply it to my under eye. I'm going to do a light baking, but I'm not going to do too much. Next, I'm going to take the Glow powder from Laura Mercier. This is like the same setting powder, but like the Glow formula, and I'm actually going to take take that and apply it all over my face to set my foundation. I'm just gonna take my Moda Beauty All Over Powder Brush. I'm just gonna take a little bit of that. I need to tap off the excess. I'm gonna tap off the excess and kind of just place that all over. Next, I'm just gonna take my bronzer. This is Sunset Striptease from Wet n Wild Beauty. I'm just gonna take my Marc Jacobs The Bronze brush, which is this big, beautiful, fluffy brush. I'm just gonna take some of that on there, dust off the excess, and just start applying to my cheekbones. For today's look, it's kind of just like a bronzy look. I'm not trying to do anything extra. If anything, I'm just going to get my nails done, and the last thing I need is to see all those people just staring at me funny. Not that I care, but I'm not in the mood to be seen lately. Like, I just like any attention that I can. Next, I'm gonna take that bronzer, and I'm just gonna take the Jeffree Star JS6 brush, and I'm just gonna take some of that and just very lightly go over my crease on my eyelids. This is just gonna create a little bit of dimension. I'm gonna take some of that and apply it to my lower lash line as well. Next, I'm just gonna take my Bobbi Brown Illuminating Bronzing Brush in the shade Aruba. This has a light illumination to it because it does have a little bit of shimmer to it. I love to layer this on top of any bronzer just because it gives me an all-over nice sun-kissed look. I'm gonna take the same bronzing brush from Marc Jacobs and just apply it to the top of my cheeks like you would blush with this. With this, I'm not using to contour, I'm just using it as a, almost like a blush. So to go with the whole glow bronze look, I am going in with my Baked Blush and Brighten Tropic Hues. This is from Laura Geller, or Geller, I don't even know how to say her name. Laura Geller. I'm gonna take my blush brush from Wet n Wild. This is the blush brush that I used in my previous video. I'm just gonna take some of that, tap off the excess. I'm just gonna take my Moda Beauty brush and just feather that out so that it's not so concentrated on my cheek. I just want like a healthy glow, you know? Like, I'm not trying to do too much today. I am going to go in with my Pixie Creamy Gold Glowy Powder. This is a beautiful shade that I actually got at the Pixie event that I went to. If I swatched that for you guys, it is actually insane. Excuse me for using my middle finger. Look at that. That is just beautiful. The pigment is just so creamy. It's so beautiful, and it is buildable. I have used this once before and I was actually shook, and then I kind of just not used it because I've been more of like a natural look lately, and this is just like blinding. I'm actually just going to take a little bit of that and just put it on the top of my cheekbone. I'm going to take some down the center of my nose. It's just a beautiful highlight. It gave me a little bit of radiance right here without doing too much. I feel like the glow powder from Laura Mercier definitely gave me a little bit too much glow, but that's fine. You can never be glowy enough. I'm just gonna take my cheek brush. I feel like I applied too much blush now. I'm gonna go back into that Aruba shade from Bobbi Brown. This is that illuminating bronzer. I'm actually gonna take my finger and just press that on my eyelids. This is gonna give my eye a little bit of glow. You can honestly, you can't even tell when I wear this that it's on my eyelids, but it's just like a beautiful natural shimmer. I can't even begin to explain it to you guys, but it's just so beautiful. Honestly, you guys, this is like my everyday work makeup. Like, if I have to work and I'm trying to be natural, this is probably my makeup look. But if you guys have ever seen me in person and you have ever seen me at work, this is probably the makeup routine I use for work. It's just very natural, very glowy. I don't do too much. I'm gonna go into my favorite mascara. This is the Kush mascara, and I'm just gonna apply that just to my lashes to kind of take away the powder residue on the lashes. I'm just gonna take that. Oh, this was chunky. I haven't used this mascara in a while, and I forgot that it's super liquidy, so I have to be careful when I apply it. I'm just gonna go in with the mascara on my bottom lashes, and I'll be right back. And lastly, I have a sleeping lip mask on my lips, but I am gonna go over it with the Lip Maximizer from Dior. This is just one of my favorites because it is literally the color of my lips, and I just apply that all over. Lastly, I'm just gonna take my Too Faced Hangover Spray, and I'm just gonna spritz my face. If you're wondering why my Too Faced Hangover Spray has a black spray bottle, I actually got it from like a Revlon setting spray and switched it out with mine because mine had broken, and I actually like this one better because it's like one of those like continuous, not continuous spray, but like, what is this called? I guess it is a continuous, not a continuous spray, because that's like, that would be like the Morphe one, but it's one of those like fine mist sprays, so I can literally, it takes forever to get to the bottom, and it's just better because I feel like the original pump, the original spray pump from this was like flashed your face with water, and it was like too much. Sometimes would leave like watermarks on my makeup, and I hated that. So anyway, the quick fix actually improved this, I feel. So that concludes as far as like makeup application. This is basically my makeup for today. I am gonna wait a couple hours before I check back in with you guys, but But overall, I will say that the primer did an amazing, phenomenal job of my texture. My skin looks so smooth. It feels hydrated. It doesn't feel tight. It just looks so beautiful. Like, keep in mind, I put powder all over my face. Normally, I would not powder my face just because when I'm feeling a little dry and with the winter weather right now, it just looks very, like, it literally just clings to all the dry patches. But overall, this looks amazing. I have a healthy glow. That aside, that's just the makeup. The texture and like the overall how the foundation applied is amazing. I can honestly barely see my acne scarrings. I know you guys could probably see them on video. Overall, it just looks amazing. There's a lot of times when I have turned to the side on my videos and it just doesn't look good because you can see the acne scarring. So that looks amazing as far as what the primer is doing to the overall texture. But I'll check back in with you guys in a couple hours, so just keep on watching. So it's 3:48 in the afternoon. Just keep on watching. I'll check back in with you guys in a couple hours. Hey you guys, it's 2:23 a.m. It's been about 10 hours since I initially put on the foundation. Looking at my skin, it looks really good. I am starting to get a little oily in the T-zone, but the makeup is intact. Looking at the makeup, nothing seems to have strayed. I will say that after 9 hours, my texture from my acne scars is starting to show just a little bit. I did notice that earlier when I initially put on the foundation and everything else, my texture wasn't as noticeable because of the primer. Right now, it is starting to show just right about here. If I turn to the side, you can kind of see it a little bit, but it's nothing like crazy. It just looks like what my normal primer might look like. I will say that at the beginning, this primer definitely did a little bit better at concealing my texture. Nothing is really sinking into my pores though. My makeup is definitely sitting on top of the primer. A lot of times around this mark, your face will have eaten the makeup because your pores just absorb things. The makeup is looking pretty intact. My forehead looks phenomenal. It looks pretty good. Overall, the makeup looks really good though. My bronzer definitely did fade a little bit. Right in this area, you can start to see that it's kind of fading. The highlight is doing good, and the blush definitely faded. Blush tends to fade about the 4 to 6 hour mark, so that is pretty standard for a blush, unless it's a long wearing blush. It still looks pretty good. Like, overall, the foundation looks pretty good. Say I had to go somewhere right now, I would honestly just touch up my blush and my bronzer maybe, and I'm good to go. But overall, the foundation looks really good. I'm just gonna take a brush and go into my finishing powder from Cover FX and kind of just tap it all over to see what this will look like. There we go. So I powdered it. Overall, the foundation looks really good. It still looks pretty fresh. Obviously, I'm getting a little oily, but it's amazing. I still look like how I originally looked at the beginning of the video, minus maybe the blush. A lot of times when I come back in to check in with you guys, the foundation will have faded and I just look oily and I look greasy and I just want to wash it off. But overall, this primer is amazing. I definitely feel like it really helped with my texture. It really helped with the hydration. My skin doesn't look dry. I don't have any dry patches throughout my face. Normally, foundation looks amazing, but then after a couple hours, if you're dry patches will start to show. The foundation looks amazing as far as texture, as far as dryness. I feel hydrated. It honestly just overall an amazing primer, and especially if you have texture, I definitely recommend this primer. If you want something to help even out texture and help you with your acne scars or acne so that they're not so prominent, this is definitely the primer for you, and I definitely give this a thumbs up, and this is definitely something I'm going to be keeping and I won't be returning. Actually, really excited about this primer. Like, I'm excited that I own this. I'm excited to use this. I'm probably going to be using this all the time. I don't feel like it's going to cause any breakouts. Normally by now my face I would know if I was going to get any type of allergic reaction from this. My face feels good. So overall, this is a thumbs up for me, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. And if you watched this video all the way to the very end, let me know what your favorite primer to combat texture is down below. And until next time, guys, you guys hand out.